Welcome to another exciting episode of the Late Night Hour, broadcasting from our secret, undisclosed, underground bunker location. The voice of freedom, and a warm welcome to you. Here on the Late Night Hour, we explore the topics not found on television.
You're listening to the Late Night Hour.
Welcome. Here we are again on a beautiful Friday evening.
She walks into a winter day. She walks into a midnight haze.
And thank you for joining us. Grab your favorite beverage, kick back. You've made it to the Late Night Hour again. It's a beautiful late night. Grab a cup of coffee, cup of tea. You can relax. Everyone is still alive, still kicking, still having another exciting evening. You probably have no social life, so here you are joining me on another late night hour. It's TGIF. Where's my beverage? Let me see if we can find that. And if you're new to our show, we cover the news each and every night, 7 days a week. I guess I should say the disgusting news. Every time you read something in the news, it makes you, upset. It makes you mad. Well, at least for most of us, we can barely stomach the news each day from around the United States. Politicians are doing something new to us. Something new, something disgusting, something irritating, some new wrinkle to take your rights away, to destroy your liberty. And most of the time, they're very hypocritical. They don't want a wall, but they live with walls around their homes. They don't want guns, but they live with high security, armed security. They don't want you using gasoline. They want you separating your garbage, so you have your recycled items on one side and you have your trash on another. And they, of course, don't follow the rules. The rules are only for the little people. That's you and I. The rules are much different for the celebrities, the politicians, the billionaires. They have new rules. They have their own rules. They don't have to follow the rules that you and I must follow. And they have 50,000 laws they can arrest and harass you for if they want to. So, like I say, don't get too stressed out if they pass another law that makes it illegal to sleep in the park or spit on the sidewalk or, not wear your seatbelt, not put on your helmet, not do your makeup or your lipstick when you're driving or have a big gulp. You got to have a little gulp. You can have an 8 ounce, not a 32 ounce. So, they have all these rules of tyranny, rules that they want to impose on everyone, but themselves, of course. And they're just rules to harass you. It seems like more and more they want to enter your home, your car. They want inside your doghouse. They want to micromanage you, but, of course, they don't follow any of these laws. But, like I say, I'm getting a little upset just sitting here, and it's Friday night. We should be happy. Obviously, I have no social life, or I'd be out. I'd be out partying. I'd be out playing pool, maybe bowling, going to a movie. There's so many things you can do these days. I could watch the NFL players kneeling for the national anthem. What other types of entertainment are there? There are so many things. Watch the NFL destroy itself. Watch Major League Baseball, if I want to pay, $100 for a ticket, parking, and a $20 hot dog. Things are changing, my friend. Things have been corporatized. They don't want the little guy anymore at the baseball game sitting in the bleachers for $4. No. They want the corporate boxes. And they don't need you to go to the game because they have the corporate funding. They have the funding from the networks, the television money. And they don't really care about the little guy anymore. The same with the nonprofits. You think they want your $1 or your $4 donation, your $10 donation. They don't care anymore. They just want non-tax status so they can get corporate funding. And there's plenty of money out there. There's George Soros who's spending money left and right on nonprofits, all designed to destroy America and destroy your way of life. But it's all good. It's all nonprofit. After all, we need these nonprofits. Every time there's a national disaster in Haiti or some other country, the Red Cross rushes in, Other charities complain. The Red Cross is not there to save people. The Red Cross is there to prevent the other charities from going in, preventing the legit charities from helping countries or helping people. That's why the Clinton-Bush crime family is always out promoting the Red Cross, and they also fly the cross of the Knights Templar. A lot of these symbols are out there. They're everywhere. And one of the nights on a late night hour, we'll have to have corporate symbology night and take you through a lot of the symbols. For some people, it's as simple as a McDonald's hamburger, You go to McDonald's all the time and you look at the beautiful golden arches and it takes a while. Then you realize, hey, those arches are not the golden arches at all. Those arches form the number 13. The evil occult number 13 is right in front of your eyes, but you never see it until one day you wake up and you look at the arches, and you'll notice a line underneath the arches and their logo, and you go, wow, that's the number 13. I never saw that number 13 before. So I'm not going to eat at McDonald's. I'll go over to Burger King and get a big, one of the big Whoppers. Got to love the Whoppers. And then you're eating at Burger King, and you look at the big B, and you notice the B doesn't really touch the left line of the B. And oh my God, the big B in Burger King is the number 13. And so now you see a 13 on both burgers. So that's just one example that might wake you up. There is a gang, a cabal that runs all these large multinational corporations, not the little corporations, the ones with the multinationals, the big money. And to mark their territory, like most street gangs, they use symbology. So next time you're having fast food, next time you're out at the grocery store, you better pay attention to what you're buying and what those logos are. And, it's right there for you to see, but only if you know what you're looking for. It's hidden in plain sight. I go and I'm all happy, and I go to the grocery store, and oh no, there's my Oreos, and there's my crackers and things, and they've all got the double-handed sword of the Templars in the Nabisco logo. So, everywhere you look, there's all this symbology out there, and it's right in your face. And they mark their territory. So you're going to have to get better at understanding these symbols and being able to look for them when you're out shopping. Now, that doesn't mean a Whopper doesn't taste good. I mean, it's designed so that you have a craving for a Whopper or the McDonald's Big Mac. It's all the money that can be mustered to design a burger addiction. So there's nothing wrong with that. You've got cravings, and these are designed. It's one big experiment. And then, when you reach, say, retirement age, you get to be 65, 70, and you can't retire because the housing has continued to be boosted up by design. And then you can go and work at Burger King or McDonald's. And, these are jobs that the Americans don't want to do, but that's just a whole another issue. Going through the drive-through and you can't communicate your order, and you order, a Big Mac and fries, and then you get, you get a cheeseburger or something. You're just like totally messed up. Your order's messed up, and there's like this communication issue between you and the person that works there, because these are jobs Americans won't do. Unless, of course, you're retirement age. Then, you go, wow, this is a Burger King I can come back to because, look, they have retirees working here. Now, it's a little easier there. They understand the communication on the burger and everything, but, it's slow. But put yourself in their shoes at 65, 75, you're working at McDonald's. You're not going to move real fast. So, you got to be nice. You got to be gentle. And this is the society that the elite are designing, something to keep you employed until you're 90 years old. If you don't, can't retire, which probably most people won't be able to do. There was a time when they had corporate pensions, and very few companies now have corporate pensions. They have the 401k matching plans, and there was a time when you got free health care when you were employed, but that's all been destroyed, and, they always say, hey, these are great benefits. Oh, but it's like $1,000 to insure your family. So, it used to all be free. But that's somehow the corporations have been able to get out of that. They used to be able to pay for these things. Now there's little and little left for benefits. They've been chiseling this down, and it's not for the younger people working in corporations. It's not like it used to be. It is one messed up mess that nobody really wants to fix. There was a time when only one person in the household had to work, and these days it takes two to cover your housing and electricity. And, hey, your TV, your cable TV, you have to pay to be brainwashed. So you've got to have both people working. And the good old days, you only needed one person working. So the inflation is hidden. It's hidden from the population. It's harder to see, but it's still there, and it's just getting worse and worse. Politicians get in there and they make their killing. They have a short career, they make their millions, and they're gone. Unless you're John McCain, then you're in there for 20 or 30 years. And I guess in the news, we should stay on subject here. And in the news, John McCain has announced that he's stopping his brain cancer therapy. I thought John McCain's been brain dead for the last century. So stopping his brain therapy has very little impact. This is one crooked dude, John McCain. Okay, the sooner we get him out of office, one way or another, the better. Okay, John McCain has done more damage to the United States than uh, perhaps any one senator. And this last episode around where he I don't know, wheeled himself into the Senate vote and voted to keep Obamacare. I mean, what an acting job. You know, they had this all designed to come down to one vote, and then John McCain came in and saved Obamacare. But I guess we could spend a whole night on Obamacare, the death system, the system designed to basically collect a whole bunch of data on each American, having you fill out 20 pages or so to get Obamacare. Don't fall for it. Just put John Smith and make up your data. You know, that's a good subject. The Census Bureau is around collecting data. It's expanding, you know, they're questioning, and you just have to be creative, you know. Be creative, give them some data. That's what I say about Facebook and Google and everybody else. They want to play games. They want to tell you that they're not tracking you if you turn off your GPS or your location services. And if you say, you know, no, I'm going to opt out, they're still gathering all your information. So what I say is give them some data to work with. Doesn't necessarily have to be accurate. Maybe you can't remember all your accurate data. There is no law against being forgetful, and you can't remember your exact stuff. So just give them some data. Give them lots of data. And Facebook wants to play games, you know, give them 15 or 20 accounts. Give them some data. Let them do some matching, but just give them lots of stuff to work with. And that's how you counter some of these tyrannical surveillance, monitoring, all of this grid that they're trying to construct around everybody. You got to give them information overload, just like they give to the masses on television with 300 cable channels. Information overload. Keep them busy, keep them analyzing stuff, and flood their servers with data. That's how you counter these oppressive systems. You're listening to Alex Abrams. A beautiful Friday night. I'm going to try not to get too upset. And I better take a break, and we'll be right back.
She walks into a midnight haze. She will follow you. She will follow you. She will follow you. She will follow along to you.
You're listening to The Late Night Hour with Alex Abrams.
You can see that I'm getting upset. I have to calm down. I have to chill. It's a beautiful Friday evening. TGIF. Let me grab my beverage here. Take a little sip. That's the great thing about Friday nights. You can have your beverage of choice, and there's lots to choose from. Getting back to inflation, you know, I really got upset about the potato chips. You know, you buy in a bag of air. There's less chips in the bag each and every year. How about these politicians help us out and put some legislation in place that, you know, maintains the number of chips in a bag? It's just pathetic. They blow them up with air, and they look like a big bag. You go home, and they're like a third empty. Oh, I'm sorry, third full. There's like very few chips in the bag. You just paid $4 for a bag of chips. which used to be $2, but they hide the inflation. Candy bars get smaller and smaller and smaller. The dumb Americans will pay more and more for less and less. That's the way these corporations work. You think there's regulation to make them honest? You think they put the correct labeling on their ingredients? Hey, the whole system is designed to protect the corporations, to allow them to cheat legally. That's the way the system's designed. Same with taxes. System's designed to allow the rich to cheat legally. Although lately some are just so greedy that they're, getting caught, getting arrested, getting snagged in Mueller's probe. That doesn't seem, I don't know, clean, very clean. Mueller's probe. Well, the point with Mueller is you can arrest anybody for anything, so it's not surprising that he found Cohen or whoever he's arresting today. They're all crooked, so they can just pick and choose who they want to apply the laws to. The 50,000 laws, I guarantee every American's broken one of them. So it's just a matter if they want to harass you, if they want to go after you, if they want to spend their legal resources busting you, they will do it. There's no question about it. Do I hear a knock at the door? Hold on. Oh, I hope not. I'm just fooling you. I'm still here. I'm still here to rant away, to have a beautiful Friday night, bashing the machine, coming down against the man, against the system, and you can participate. I should tell you our live call-in number is 515-602-9663. Don't be shy. I would love to hear from you. Unless you say something stupid, then you're going to get cut. This is an interactive show, and we've been off the year 2 or 3 years, but we're back to cause trouble. So feel free to give me a call and let's chat. Be brave. I'm all about theories. Maybe you have a theory that would interest us. So I'd love to hear it. Maybe you want to learn about something. Maybe something bugs you. Anywhere from A to Z, I'm going to help you, help yourself, but I help you understand the real world here. This is not high school public education where they're going to sugarcoat everything. So, let me help you. And that's what we're here for in the late night hour. And I hope you enjoy our show. And you can go to our website, The Late Night Hour, and you submit your email address to connect with us. It's very simple. We'd love to have your email address in our mailing list. And we don't share this list with any of the powers out there. It's our private list. And it's designed so it doesn't store it, and we just collect it manually on purpose. So we have this mailing list to keep you better informed. What's going on in the world? Is the ring of fire going to explode and kill the entire world off? Is a nuclear war coming? There's been in the news a lot of talk about preparing now versus in the past. We prepared for the small terrorist act, but that's not going to get Trump out of office. So now they're saying, let's prepare for the big attack from China or Russia. That was in the news today. They're going to change their planning. So now they're going to think of a massive 50-city attack versus the small terrorist attack on one nuclear plant. So now they're changing to this massive nuclear war, and they have everybody scared and worried with this big announcement today. If you haven't followed the news, you see, the news is stressful. So here on the late night hour, we take the stress out of the news for you. If there's anything like super important, you listen to our show, and then I'm going to spoon feed it to you so you understand what's going on You can skip watching television for 6 hours, and you can skip reading all these news stories that don't matter. So here in the late night hour, I weed through everything, and I tell you what items you might want to be worried about, like this new nuclear strategy, planning for massive nuclear destruction. Now, kind of a rule of thumb here is that you think the governments of the world are each in charge of their particular country, and nothing could be further from the truth. It is an illusion. They all report to the same masters. Now, I guess you either believe this or you don't believe this, but if you listen to our show, you'll start to understand that what I'm telling you, is correct. It is correct. Both the Democrats and the Republican Party, the two-party illusion, they report to the same masters. And they don't really, run the country. It's a nice story, but they do what they're told to do. That's the way it really works. So this is something you have to come to grip with. And people who have, we could go, really in depth on the two-party illusion, how it was constructed to make you choose between the left or the right. We discussed the other night that they're both socialists, because that's the agenda. Move the world to socialism. Move it to collectivism. That's a step toward global tyranny, communism. And that's a step to dictatorship. So it's designed to look like two opposing parties, but they are the same party of socialism. That's the design. That's the playbook. And these politicians have to stay on the playbook. Or if they go off the reservation, there could be repercussions. You see all these people committing suicide with a doorknob. They're hanging themselves with their scarves and things, ties. I mean, it's an epidemic. We need legislation to protect us from the doorknobs. Take all doorknobs off of all homes and mansions and government buildings. They should be doorknobless. I'm going to propose that. I have to, start to seriously work with my elected officials. Yeah. Well, that's why we broadcast this show from a secret, undisclosed, underground bunker. Because despite the 50,000 laws, we like to say what's on our mind. That's what America's all about. You get to express your opinion, your viewpoints, your theories, and we share information. When they designed the internet to spy on everybody and enter our homes, they didn't realize people would actually discuss things openly. It's not China yet. Now, they're trying to turn the United States into China so they can crack down on speech and your web searches and everything else. They're trying. That's why they test everything in China. Then they bring it back here. But for now, shows like this one can provide an open forum, a truly open forum for discussion that you're not going to find on television or most radio, all the corporate-owned stuff. And speaking of that, we do support, we do appreciate also your support in not just, funding. This is a privately funded radio show, so we can still speak our mind, but we also just appreciate your support and participating. And I just realized that, we have a chat room here that would be open to everybody that's listening. And so we do need to make sure that the chat room's open. I got so, involved in this rant tonight that I don't believe our chat room is open. So let's see if we can fix that, because some people are too shy, too chicken to open, to give us a call. And so We have to see if we can get that fixed for the shy people, the ones that want to maybe chat. Forgot about that option. Again, we've been off the air 2-3 years, so things are a little rusty around here, but we are going to invite you to join us. Come into the chat room, ask a question, or give us a call. The call-in number is 515-602-9663. I have no social life. I'd love to hear from you. And feel free to give us a call. This is a live show. I don't have all the answers, most of the answers, but I don't have all of them. So call in, give me some help here. Give me some love. Where's my beverage? Hold on here. Get some my beverage. A shout out if you're in Hawaii, under 40 inches of water. It's a pretty nasty storm there, but we've seen Hawaii get wiped out before, and they bounce back. So I'm confident Hawaii will survive this storm and come back stronger. A lot of the rooms and homes may be filled with sand, but they will bounce back. And I'm sure that we'll see a fast and speedy recovery. And I think the experience there is pretty bad. Most of the federal agencies are failing, so that's what they do. They're really not designed to help you in a storm. They're designed to monitor, control, and harass Americans. That's what they do best. And so FEMA, these are all just like help organizations in disguise. It's sort of like Walmart's not a retail store. It is a vaccine center or a food distribution center in disguise. If you ever go to a Walmart and you see in front these yellow crash prevention pillars, what kind of grocery store builds those into their stores? And then you notice the whole store is built out of cinder block, like a prison, and then it's got like 50 cameras mounted on the top and watching the parking lots. Oh boy, like someone's going to go in and steal a bag of empty chips. So these are not things as you perceive them. They are hidden in plain sight. That's why the Walmart got the contract from the government to distribute vaccines and probably food when there's a nuclear attack or a national emergency such as martial law. These Walmarts could even be converted to prisons. In fact, I think they're practicing converting some. So don't be dumb, okay? It's right there for you to see. It looks like a Walmart, but it isn't a Walmart. And then you got to look at the little outfits they wear. They're like prison guard outfits. Oh, okay, I can't say that because some people might work there. And if you do work at a Walmart, give us a call or come to the chat room. Tell us some of the secrets, what's in the underground chambers or hidden in those buildings of cinder blocks. I think we've got some insiders out there that'll probably know. But to give you a tip, just go to something like YouTube and do a search, Walmart prisons, Walmart vaccine centers. You'll get plenty of good information. You don't need me to give you all the gory details, but it's just an example. What appears to be something that helps the communities, although most people don't like Walmart's destroying the mom and pop businesses, importing their goods from China. We have to realize that when we import goods from China, or if we're Bill Gates and we give money to China, calling it humanitarian aid, either way, we are funding the communist country of China and their tyrannical system. Because if you give them humanitarian money, that's money they don't have to raise to appease their population. We're helping them out. So, when these billionaires talk about their philanthropy around the world and some of these regimes, don't buy it, okay? They are traitors to the American people. By helping the children in these tyrannical countries, they're actually, helping those tyrannical governments stay afloat. So I don't buy this global philanthropy. I use Bill Gates as an example because Bill Gates said he was giving all his money away, and I look on the list, he's still number 2. How many years? How long? How many decades is it going to take Bill Gates to give his money away? I could do it for him pretty quickly. Give me a couple months. No, he's still number 2 on the list. So he said, I'm giving my money away in whatever the Gates pledge is, him and Warren Buffett and all the other crooks, we're giving our money away. Yeah, right. Right. He's still number 2 on the list. He's given most of his money to fund vaccines programs, of which we won't even have to go into the dubious aspects of vaccines using global children as his test bed. So, no, I'm not a Bill Gates fan, and he's a liar. I mean, plain, flat liar, has not given his money away. He's still number 2 on the list. You don't need a foundation to give all your money away, okay? You need a foundation run by your own family to keep the money, and that's what they do. That's why we have the Rockefeller Foundation, the Carnegie Foundation, the Ford Foundation. I can go on and on. That's the biggest scam there is out there, the billionaires that suddenly launch their foundation. Oh, yeah, right. Okay. The foundation is a way they get around the estate tax, and they retain their money generation after generation in these families. And that's a whole other area that needs to be shut down. And we've been listening a lot lately about what? The Clinton Foundation, helping the children of the world, right? Yeah. These are complete fronts. They've always been complete fronts. And for everybody to be surprised now that the Clinton Foundation is evil, well, you go back to the Carnegies, the Fords, etc., the Rockefellers, the Gates Foundation. They're all designed to subvert the United States. After they made all their fortunes off of the backs of American ingenuity and engineers and invention, they then turn around and work to subvert and undermine the United States of America, because this country must be destroyed. We can't have free speech. We can't have people like Alex Abrams talking on the air on late night hour, drinking his beverage and going off on the system, the status quo, the elite-led system with their front puppet politicians. So we have to go for the head of the snake, and that's not the politicians. They're just fronts, in many cases, mindless fronts for the real system that exists. So if you're a young person and you're listening to this show, I apologize. Everything's great at what they've taught you. I wish it was different. But you just want to make sure you're ready for the hard truth when you listen to the late night hour, because you never know what I'm going to go off on here. And I almost feel bad, like bursting the bubble of Disney World or Disneyland and apple pie and everything's great. And I feel bad sometimes. But at the same time, I think you need to hear different opinions. And I think there's a growing population that kind of realized we're living in this fake design system. A system designed to control, monitor, surveil, and get rid of you if it needs to. So the whole system's designed for man to come down, crack down on you, to prevent you from taking an idea, building a company, and making a competition for the multinationals. They got to keep you down one way or the other. That's the way the system's designed. And now, does that mean there's no way we can escape this system? There's no way we can defeat it? Absolutely not. History has shown that evil systems will decay. They are non-sustainable. So there is hope. Somebody will come up with the idea that will destroy the entire system, and sometimes you have to destroy it in order to come up with a new and better way for the future. And that's what they're worried about. That's why they want to prevent you from uniting, from working with other people, from traveling and getting together and creating new political movements that might challenge the fake two-party system. That's why they freak out so much about people being able to express their opinion and ideas. They're so worried that one person will come up with a viral idea that takes the system down. And we don't necessarily have to destroy it, but we might be able to clean it up. I guess it sounds like drain the swamp. Give the masses what they want. Drain the swamp, drain the swamp. It's been done before. We're going to clean Washington. You ever hear that slogan? Probably goes back to the 1800s. We're going to clean Washington, D.C. out. Listening to Alex Abrams, it's a happy Friday. Happy Friday. TGIF. We'll be back in just a minute here.
You're listening to The Late Night Hour with Alex Abrams.
One of the things that really disgusts me is this artificial intelligence art. Artificial intelligence has now been programmed to create artwork. I guess they want to get rid of all the artists, all the human artists. They have to go. But the machine works cheap and does paintings and algorithms. Well, here's the problem. The art looks stupid. The art is terrible. It's like the worst robot painter you've ever seen. So when I tell you these stories, you can go search on an artificial artists and humans in one machine, I think is the title of that article. And, the art is just terrible. So that's the whole point. When you say this is art, I think it has to be appealing to the eyes. And obviously this is a problem with all of the art museums. They've gotten so weird that, it's just a mess. Something that's a mess just because it's stapled to canvas doesn't mean it's art. Art has to be appealing to the eyes. One man's trash is another person's art, I guess is their motto. But anyway, I'm not too worried about the artificial intelligence artists. They need to go back to art school. They're pretty bad, okay? I wouldn't give them 5 cents for those AI paintings. That's been in the news recently. And also in the news, you may want to be aware of is Google is being sued for collecting your location data, even though you turned your location data off. So we said that earlier in the show here. They have no rules that they follow. In fact, a lot of times legislation is passed to protect what they've already been doing to you. There was a law that when they took blood from each baby that was born, they would only be able to store it for so many years. It does vary state by state, but there was laws, a federal law too, I believe. And then they came out and and passed a law that they could store it for 50 years, because they were already storing it for 50 years. They had already violated the law they had. And that's what they do. They violate their own laws. The laws are only for the little guys. The laws are not for the government to follow. And then when they violate them, they come out, and guess what? They pass new laws that cover their asses. So you have to look for that. So, the data collection laws, they're not for Google. They're only for the little guy. Google can collect any data they want. They can sell it to whoever they want. They can do whatever they want because Google was built by the government and for the government. So these corporations, especially when you get into the tech world in Silicon Valley, they're just government fronts. And when you have government in partnership with corporate interests, that's called Let's go back. When they work together, you get public-private partnerships. And that's just a really nice, slick term for fascism. The definition of fascism, government and private companies in cahoots. And so that's why you had them come out with that nice, soft term. Isn't it beautiful that Amazon's working with the feds, housing the intelligence grid data? Isn't it beautiful that Google's working to help the feds detect terrorism by screening all your web searches? And that's how they sell it. It's just, you have to realize that some of these multinational corporations aren't corporations for profit at all. They are fronts for government control, monitoring, surveillance, and worse. Speaking of the techs, I guess the Silicon Valley invented this Burning Man in Nevada where basically everybody seems to take their clothes off and roll around the mud is what I'm seeing. I don't know. Burning Man's been in the news. And they have the Orgy Dome. And I don't know, you get into Berkeley and California and San Francisco, and I think they also have the clear urinals in San Francisco. I mean, they have a lot of perverted stuff. So the Burning Man designed by Silicon Valley, is not surprising, and they all go to Nevada. They all go to Nevada to do their celebrating. Why Nevada? Because it's a desert and they burn up in the sun? No, also because the federal government owns the most of Nevada. So I think that's the state the feds own the most of. So that's why they're allowed to go to Nevada and to do their Burning Man thing. And there seems to be, this growing trend of nudity, perversion, whether it's the Burning Man, the clear urinals, the nude yoga, nude restaurants. There's like this growing trend. I have to admit the UK is leading the charge. And, there's a lot of like nude people I don't really want to see. It's just not good, Now, I don't know if we need more laws to protect those visions, but there's just like... No, it's just not good. Sometimes you go to Miami Beach and they have, topless beaches, and you go out there sometimes and you're like, no, this is just not. It's just not a good thing. It's sort of like the art. When I tell you the art, if it's not pleasant to the eyes, it shouldn't be art. So there shouldn't be nudity unless it's pleasant to the eyes, okay? Some of this is just bizarre. It's just not good. And that's kind of what I've seen from Burning Man, burn your eyes out because it's not pleasant for the eyes. I suppose, each to their own, and some find it to be a enlightening, liberating experience. Of course, they're all coked up on drugs and things, but hey, if they want to take their SUVs out to the Nevada desert, hopefully there won't be any nuclear testing on the same weekend out there in Nevada, but you never know. Maybe that's why they call it the Burning Man thing. I don't get it. I think of the when I hear Burning Man, I think of the Wicker Man or something. Anyway, some kind of pagan, dance, Wiccan pagan dance in the desert, and maybe that's what it is. I think they would just stay to the Bohemian Grove. Why they have to drive all the way to the Nevada? So that's going on in the news. Google being sued, keeping people's location data, even though they switched the data location off. Isn't that interesting? And Facebook scoring, that's been in the news. A secret Facebook gives you a score based on your level of truth, because you could be spreading fake news, such as the entire system of government is an illusion. That would probably classify as fake news, but we'll just have to see. Why do they let Facebook get away with everything? Because they are the government. Don't fool yourself with these little wimpy-looking CEOs that run these companies, the tech companies especially. And Bill Gates is a perfect example. The wimpy little nerdy CEO. He was, one of the early props they used. And when they funded him, we could get into the funding of Microsoft. Government funding. Not surprising, since Mr. Gates' father was the head of Planned Parenthood. Eugenics. Not surprising, bills involved in vaccines to help the global children around the world. But this all gets intertwined. But don't fall for these nerdy, wimpy-looking CEOs. They're all very evil, and they're front props for the military-industrial media complex. And they even start to look alike. All these CEOs, they're right, chiseled out of the same stone, the same wimpy, mild-mannered CEO. They couldn't possibly be, evil tools of the establishment. And it's misdirection. So these CEOs are involved in some pretty disgusting things around the world. Don't let their mild-mannered appearance fool you. And it's not just them running these companies. They are being run. Speaking of unpleasant visions, I guess Madonna was out flashing a bit. She's age 60. I mean, why don't some of these celebrities just go away in peace? No, I'm not going to pay $120 to see the 60-year-old dancing on stage. She has a few decent songs, probably never written them, definitely never played an instrument. It's just all artificial. So don't jump on the Madonna bandwagon. It's just a brand that's been created to keep you entertained. But no, watching a 60-year-old dance on stage like a 20-year-old, it's just not right again. There's some things that conflict with the laws of nature. It's just not good. And so I think the time's up for Madonna to just retire, go slide into the abyss. She'll get what's coming for her when she was doing her, like a virgin in the Catholic Church, parodies and dressing up, I think, as a nun and wearing the crosses and all this good stuff as she practices the Kabbalah, which is numerology. But we won't spend too much time on it. Madonna just needs to fade away gently off into the horizon. We don't need any Madonna flashing going on. Hey, I guess there was a big Muslim rally in Minnesota, so they're going to fill up the dome there in Minnesota and yell, what is it, Akbar or something like that. I don't really pick on any one particular religion because they're all cults. They're all the same. In fact, there's a lot of theory that they are from the same origin, the same mystery religion. They're spin-offs of the mystery religion, which has been defined in the Bible, but all relates back to Babylon, the Tower of Babel, the one world government of Babylon, and how we're going to reconstruct this one world government system. So, it doesn't matter too much if you look at Theosophy, Madame Blavatsky, Alice Bailey. These are important because they are all being practiced by the United Nations under the Lucas Trust organization. So this Theosophy, which was the basis for the Thule Society, which Hitler followed, and the Thule Society has an American counterpart called Skull and Bones. So this all links up. It is basic Theosophy. Why do I mention this? Because if you look at the logos of Theosophy, it blends many of the world's religions, because that's what the mystery religion is. It's a blend of all the religions, which they all originated from the same source, the Babylon mystery schools. In the past, we've had some guests on to explain this in gory detail, but you can do some DuckDuckGo searches and find the information. I'm just giving you a clue tonight, a late night hour, because it is getting late. I'm enjoying my Friday night. I thought about going out, socializing, having fun like normal person might, but it's better to just sit here and rant against the machine. And I'm starting to actually enjoy my evening tonight talking with you. It'd be nice if you gave me a call at 515-602-9663. Because we took a few years off, it's going to take us a little time to ramp things up, but I guarantee you we'll have lots of callers pretty soon. It just takes time for people to realize, hey, Alex is back on the air causing trouble. And once the critical mass happens, and we'll have lots of callers, and our chat room will be full of chatters. So we're looking forward to those days, the glory days. Bring back the glory days so that I'm not alone here on a late night hour, drinking my beverage, going off in any direction. And there's just so much to talk about, so many disgusting things going on, from Burning Man to Madonna to the Trump impeachment. There's just all this stuff going on. And then there's people, fighting for safety in Hawaii. And we give them a shout out. Maybe they're listening into the late night hour tonight, getting pretty damp, but maybe they're able to still listen to our show. We'll be right back.
She says hello. In the sky, a graceful show. Many fall onto their knees. Blue light dancing to be seen.
You're listening to The Late Night Hour with Alex Abrams.
She will follow you. Somebody's going to follow you. She will do it. Who is she? I guess that's open for debate. Who is following who in this world? We don't know. They want to follow everybody. I guess that's the answer. They're going to follow everybody, especially with the artificial intelligence and Watson. Watson does everything. He's going to still follow you, follow your neighbor, follow your relatives. What are you up to? Are you pro-government or anti-government? Are you a radical? Are you a terrorist? Are you black? Are you white? They have to divide and conquer. That's the way the system works. Whip up frenzies between the races, the religions, the ideologies, and political ideologies. Whip up conflict. Let the masses fight amongst themselves as you sit back and collect from the system like one big leech, a parasitic billionaire living off the system. Guy reminded me of McCain again. I got to get that out of my head. Okay. I guess important topics. MIT computer predicts that we're going to be in total collapse by 2030. Here's the AI again helping us out, telling us we're going to destroy ourselves by the year 2030 like we didn't know that. The way things are going, and you have the clear urinals and Burning Man. 2030 sounds about right. So you can either just have a really good time for the next 10 years or so, or you can prepare, my friend. Prepare for the worst. Expect the best. I don't know where I got that slogan. Probably from watching a TV show too much. But the MIT computer will have to follow that, and you can follow it too. You just go to DuckDuckGo and you do a little search. MIT computer predicts collapse by 2030. Wells Fargo's been on the ropes. Says they're closing a bunch of their branches. Wells Fargo was caught up in a series of corruption and I think a very large fine, like $1 billion they had to pay. I'm not sure the exact amount, but why am I telling you this? Because I'm giving you a tip. If you're banking at Wells Fargo and you have $10, that's one situation. You have $10 million in Wells Fargo, you may want to think about that again. May want to diversify a little bit. Wells Fargo, rumors of Wells Fargo going under have been around for, a few years, but it's certainly worth looking at. I think Wells Fargo is on the Trilateral or the Bilderbergs. They're connected to one of the two. You can check that out. You can get the Trilateral and the Bilderberg membership lists. And you can find out which multinational corporations like Amazon, many others. I guess I'll get the whole list for you, but you can find out who's connected to these global cabals. I think that's the best word for them. Global cabals bent on world domination. And the new international economic system, which, means socialism, control over the masses, collectivism, control using technology. That's what they're all about. The AIs and the drones and the robots. And why haven't they taken over the world already? Because they can't do it. But if they get armies of robots which have no empathy for human life, it's possible. That's what they're building. They're building drones and robots to kill humans. That's what they do with their money. That's their dream. Their wet dream is all this automation to get rid of the humanity so that there's more natural resources for themselves. So it's pretty simple when you look at it. And let's see. Of course, also in the news has been Visa and MasterCard. They've been stopping their services from being used by conservatives, probably by gun distributors, anything that's against the socialized system that's trying to be implemented. The Visa and MasterCard are going to contact your ability to collect donations and funding, and they've been doing it for some time, but the light is being shed on this, and they won't be able to allow them to do it forever. So evil systems are not sustainable, and well, hopefully that Visa and MasterCard will be slapped down because controlling payments, you're getting into the cashless society, and this is becoming a very political hot potato. So even in Facebook, Google, even though they are fronts for the government, I expect them to be regulated, broken up, or otherwise renamed or something, because they will be dropping. People will just be abandoning these services of MasterCard and Visa and Google and Facebook. We're already going to DuckDuckGo. That's the search engine to be at. There's some others out there, but people are already not using Google, not using Facebook. They've lost their most important currency. That's trust of the American people. They've already lost that. You saw Zuckerberg testifying in Congress. You're like, no, I'm going to pull the plug on these services and at least use them very little. And they're on their way down. And when people stop using these services, their advertisers start dropping, and they will be on a path of destruction. So I do expect maybe a few years, maybe longer, Facebook, Google will not be here. Now, they probably will take the technology and rename it, rebrand it, and relaunch it as the new improved company you should join as an alternative to Google and Facebook. But it is Google and Facebook, just renamed. So don't fall for the games. That's what's probably coming ahead here. So I expect something like that. The cat's out of the bag. The toothpaste is out of the tube. Everybody knows that these tech companies are the military-industrial grid, which also gets us back to companies like Comcast and many others that provide AT&T. All this technology infrastructure is all connected up to the military-industrial complex. Some of them are even run by former military generals, colonels. They're in these companies. They're lurking around the corner. You think you're at the coffee pot talking to your corporate manager, and you've come to realize he's a former colonel or general killing people over in Europe or Asia or Iraq or Afghanistan. Wherever the killing goes, he was there, but now he's working at the coffee pot at your local company. And he looks so nice. He's a little timid, mild man. He's not a killer. So, you've got to, wake up, my friend. Come to your senses. Killers don't look like killers. You just never know. You never know who you're working with and what they're really up to. That's the fun of it. But if you tune into the late night hour, I'll do my best to give you the information I know about, things that might help you understand the system a little bit better so that you can flourish in this corrupt system. But it's the best system there is. I mean, we still have some freedoms at the moment. Could be worse. Could be in China. It could be in other places around the world. Could be in Saudi Arabia where they behead activists. I mean, I don't want to lose my head over this radio show, but, so it could be worse. And America may be still the best system that there is, although the elite built the system. Now they're trying to take their own system down because it's given the slaves too much freedom, too much ability to share their viewpoints and opinions and theories. This just can't continue on. We can't allow the little guy to have a voice in this world. We can't control what the little guy says. And so if you just continue with this logic, the tyranny is coming. They're teeing up their legislation and their policies and their penalties and their abilities to call everybody a fake. You're a fake news spreader, you terrible person. That'll be Law 50,001. So what do you think? 10 years for spreading fake news? Well, they're working on their ideas to crack down, and we expect an attack here. Something's coming down the pipe. Something to attack free speech is just around the corner. But we're going to be here to fight it, just with everybody else out there in independent media, what they call, that is not corporate controlled, corporate funded, or part of the military-industrial complex. We're free and independent media, free to speak our minds for the time being. It was sad to see Robin Leach pass away in Las Vegas. He was brought us the Rich and Famous TV show, but it did start to launch kind of an independent attack on celebrity lifestyles. And I think that's what we're seeing today. Anybody with a camera can be a paparazzi. Anybody with a phone can be a paparazzi. We know what the elite celebrities are up to. And although they support the system that spies on the little guy, that spies on all the Americans, they don't like being spied on themselves. And so I'm surprised we haven't seen a law yet. It's illegal to film or record a celebrity or a government employee or a policeman. They try. Some states try to outlaw it. It's just an ongoing battle, but in some cases, thank goodness people had phones and cameras and were able to film some of this police brutality. There's a lot of great policemen out there, but there's also a lot of corruption and some really bad police. And it only takes a few bad apples to destroy the entire reputation of the police system. So I support good policing. I do not support bad policing. I could bring up a number of stories recently, and I think I'm going to hold that for the next show on another late night, give you a few examples so you can understand real police brutality. And fortunately, again, a lot of the policemen are very pro-American, pro-gun ownership, pro-Constitution. There's a lot of good police out there. But they're also trying to get rid of the good police and bring in the dumb, young, uneducated thugs. That's the bottom line. And so we have to support the good police and keep them in there. They do a great job and help our communities. And the more support we give them, maybe they can help us get the bad apples out of the barrel. So that's my feeling on the police. Remember Joe Arpaio, the sheriff of Arizona? And he was real tough on immigration. He made the prisoners wear pink outfits and things. And he was actually trying to prevent illegal immigration down on the border of Arizona, where John McCain was uprooting, subverting, and harassing Joe Arpaio. And anyway, Joe is running for Senate and getting no support from the GOP. What do you think? What do you do? Is that surprising? I mean, the GOP, just like the Democrats, are socialists. They want open borders and globalization. And so it's not surprising that they're giving Joe no support. And he's, I think, in third place, running for the Senate. So we don't expect Joe to win. And it's probably a good thing, Joe. I think he's 80 years old or so. I mean, it's probably time for Joe to retire and enjoy his senior years and not the stress of the Senate. But it's just worth, pointing out a perfect example of how the GOP is really pro-illegal immigration. Don't believe their rhetoric. They'd be supporting Joe, who's one of the pillars of immigration control, but they're not in Arizona. And so we have to take that as an indicator that these two parties are working together to undermine and subvert the United States and our borders and bringing in illegal immigration. There's a big difference between bringing immigrants in an orderly fashion and bringing in the skills that we need. Most countries import the skills they need. If they need more engineers or more teachers or more laborers, they import those skills. That's a controlled immigration. It makes logical sense. But to think we can have no borders and bring in unlimited numbers of people from around the world, no questions asked, no relation to the skills our country needs to function, that is mindless suicide, and that's what it's designed for, to kill off America, to flood this country with anybody else that is uneducated, unable to really have a skill to support themselves, and overwhelm the welfare system. That's the design. So don't fall for it. I think most people, regardless if they're Democrats or Republicans, they realize that no country can have unlimited immigration. We don't have enough bathrooms. We don't have enough 7-Elevens. We don't have enough grocery stores to support millions and millions of people just coming into this country, no questions asked, give them a driver's license and a voting card. It's just not going to work. And if they keep pushing this envelope, which it appears they're trying to, things are going to backfire on them. And they're impatient. You know, the guys at the top of the cabal, they don't like to wait 10 or 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, because they're not going to be here to see the new world global order. They're going to be fading off into the sunset. So they get impatient and they try to shove all this stuff down your throat to obtain their North American Union instantly that they've been after. And we've been able to prevent the North American Union. If we wanted a North American Union, we'd already have it. We'd have Canada, the U.S., and Mexico merged into one entity with the Amero if we wanted it. But people don't want that. When I want to experience the Canadian culture, I go up to Canada. If I want to experience the Mexican culture, I go down to Mexico. We like three countries, three separate countries. And no, they want to merge it all together. That's the design. And let's fight it back for another 1,000 years. Listening to Alex Abrams. Happy Friday to you. We'll be right back.
She walks into a winter day. She walks into a midnight haze. She will follow you.
You're listening to The Late Night Hour with Alex Abrams.
One last shout out to our friends in Hawaii who are under attack by the Hurricane Lane hang loose cousin. And may you ride this storm, and tomorrow be a better day. May that storm get through there, and may you return to your normal way of life. And the beautiful islands. Always had a great time in Hawaii, and your fellow friends here in the mainland are supporting you. And we hope FEMA delivers your water and shelters and all the other things they're not doing already. There's a lot of complaints rolling in, but we hope things improve for you and the island gets back to normal. You're listening to the Late Night Hour, ranting away on a Friday night, celebrating my Friday with more complaints against the system. But again, I remain hopeful that you and I, Americans everywhere, can unite together and come up with some ingenuity to get rid of this elitist control, elitist run country and help make smooth and fair and just improvements in our way of government. America remains to be the best system out there in the world. Let's not destroy it. Let's improve it. All our friends that are whipped into conflict against each other, let's see if we can come together and unite and work together. Be proud of this country. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And not let that issue destroy the NFL. Then we have no football we can watch. We have no $200 tickets we can buy to go to the game. So let's see if we can convince the NFL to do the right thing and support the country. Yeah, celebrities have not figured that out. The Academy Awards, they want nobody to watch it. They're turning it into a political activist show. And this all has to stop. You know, entertainment is entertainment. Sports is sports. There are other times and other opportunities to conduct politics. And certain things should remain politic-free. Leave the politics for the radio shows like this one, where we could complain about brain-dead McCain or poor Joe Arpaio. We can rant against the Clintons, Obama, the Bushes. They're all the same, so we can rant against all of them. That's what we do on the Late Night Hour. I hope you tune in because, as you can probably tell, once we get started after our 2 or 3 year vacation, we'll be back each and every day at 10 p.m. to complain and rant and fill you in on any important news you need to read about or understand. That's what we do here. We go through all the news and then we feed you anything important. So I hope you tune in tomorrow night. Our show runs anywhere from 1 to 2 hours, but if I'm done talking and I've got I've run out of things to complain about, we're done. It's that simple. We have the flexibility. And as we get more callers and more people in the chat room, we will be running longer shows. And you can hear me take on any and all subjects. But I'd like to thank you for listening in tonight and joining us on the Late Night Hour. And we'll go check all our sources and see what's important for you tomorrow. So check back tomorrow evening. I'm going to go and enjoy my favorite beverage and the rest of my evening. And we'll talk to you soon on the Late Night Hour.
You're listening to the Late Night Hour